What if the greatest predator ancient humans faced wasn't an animal, but the darkness itself? Thousands of years ago, when the sun slipped below the horizon, the world transformed into a place of uncertainty. There were no streetlights, no flashlights, no glowing phone screens. Only fire, moonlight, and endless shadows. For our ancestors, darkness wasn't simply the absence of light. It was a signal that the rules of survival had changed. Every strange sound, every rustling leaf, every distant growl could mean the difference between seeing another sunrise or becoming someone else's meal. As the last orange light faded beyond the horizon, ancient families gathered close around their fires. The flames did more than provide warmth. They created a small island of safety in an ocean of mystery. Beyond the flickering circle of light lay a world they couldn't see, and the human brain has always feared what it cannot see. Modern science helps explain why. Human vision evolved to work best during the day. Compared to many nocturnal animals, our night vision is surprisingly poor. Cats, owls, wolves, and countless predators possess eyes designed to gather tiny amounts of light. Ancient humans did not. When darkness arrived, one of their most important survival tools, their eyesight, became unreliable. And when vision fails, imagination begins to take over. The human brain constantly predicts danger. It's better, from an evolutionary perspective, to mistake a shadow for a predator than to mistake a predator for a shadow. That single survival strategy helped our ancestors live long enough to have children, passing those cautious instincts to future generations, including us. But poor vision wasn't the only problem. Night completely changed the balance between humans and predators. Lions, leopards, hyenas, saber-toothed cats, giant owls, snakes, and packs of wolves often became far more active after sunset. Many hunted using hearing, smell, and exceptional night vision. Humans, on the other hand, struggled to detect movement even a few meters away. Imagine hearing footsteps outside your shelter without knowing what made them. Was it the wind? A deer? Or something waiting for the fire to burn lower? That uncertainty was exhausting. Recent studies of fear show that uncertainty activates many of the same brain systems as real danger. Sometimes uncertainty can feel even worse because the mind begins creating countless terrifying possibilities. In many ways, darkness became humanity's oldest psychological test. Yet something extraordinary happened roughly 1 million years ago. Humans learned to control fire. Fire did far more than cook food. It extended the day. It scared away many predators. It created warmth. It brought people together. Around those flames, people likely began sharing stories, teaching children, planning hunts, remembering ancestors, and explaining mysteries they couldn't yet understand. Ironically, some of humanity's first myths may have been born because darkness forced people to imagine what existed beyond the light. Every culture on Earth eventually created stories about spirits, monsters, mysterious creatures, or supernatural beings that appeared after sunset. Were these stories completely invented? Not necessarily. Many probably started with real experiences. A pair of glowing eyes reflecting firelight. An unexplained scream echoing through the forest. The silhouette of an animal briefly crossing the moonlight. Without scientific explanations, the brain naturally searched for patterns. Sometimes those patterns became legends. Even today, our brains behave in remarkably similar ways. Have you ever noticed how a pile of clothes in a dark room suddenly looks like a person? This isn't childish imagination. It's called pareidolia, the brain's tendency to recognize meaningful shapes where none exist. The same mechanism helps us recognize faces instantly, an ability so important for survival that the brain occasionally overreacts. Seeing a face that isn't really there costs almost nothing. Failing to notice a hidden predator could cost everything. This explains why darkness often feels strangely alive. But ancient humans faced another invisible enemy after sunset: silence. Or rather, the changing sounds of nature. During daylight, forests are filled with birds, insects, and movement. At night, familiar sounds disappear while unfamiliar ones emerge. Owls call, branches crack, leaves rustle. Animals communicate in ways humans rarely understand. The brain notices these unfamiliar patterns immediately. Anything unusual receives extra attention because unusual often meant dangerous. Even today, people sleeping in unfamiliar places tend to remain partially alert. Scientists have discovered something fascinating. During the first night in a new environment, one side of the brain often sleeps more lightly than the other. This first night effect acts almost like an ancient security guard, remaining more prepared to detect threats. Our ancestors likely relied on this ability every single night. Sleep itself became dangerous. Modern humans often think of sleep as peaceful. For ancient humans, sleep required enormous trust. You had to become unconscious while surrounded by predators. Some researchers believe humans may have developed social sleeping arrangements partly because groups dramatically increase survival. Someone always woke up first. Someone noticed unusual sounds. Someone kept the fire alive. Community became one of humanity's greatest defenses against darkness. But there was another reason the night felt terrifying. Humans are storytellers. When we don't have answers, we create explanations. Long before astronomy, lightning was mysterious. Before biology, disease seemed supernatural. Before psychology, nightmares felt real. Darkness became the perfect canvas for every unknown fear. This tendency still exists today. Horror movies rarely show the monster clearly. Instead, they hide it. The less information your brain receives, the harder it works to imagine the threat. And your imagination is often more frightening than reality. This isn't a flaw. It's an ancient survival feature. But not every culture viewed darkness only with fear. Some learned to respect it. Ancient navigators used stars to cross oceans. Hunter-gatherers observed moon cycles. Many communities scheduled travel, ceremonies, and hunting around predictable phases of the night sky. The same darkness that hid predators also revealed the universe. Without city lights, the Milky Way stretches across the sky with breathtaking clarity. For ancient humans, every clear night offered a view that most modern people rarely experience. Those stars inspired navigation, calendars, myths, agriculture, and eventually science itself. In a strange way, fear and curiosity grew together. Darkness asked terrifying questions. The stars encouraged humans to search for answers. Over thousands of generations, humans slowly reshaped the night. Shelters became stronger. Villages became larger. Walls surrounded communities. Torches illuminated paths. Then came candles, oil lamps, gas lights, electricity. For the first time in human history, darkness stopped controlling our daily lives. Or did it? Despite all our technology, millions of people still dislike sleeping in complete darkness. Children often fear dark rooms. Adults may feel uneasy walking alone at night, even in relatively safe places. Crime rates, unfamiliar sounds, and limited visibility continue to trigger ancient instincts buried deep within our brains. The environment has changed much faster than evolution. Our minds still carry software written for a prehistoric world. Perhaps the most remarkable part of this story is that fear itself helped humanity survive. Without fear, our ancestors might have ignored danger. Without caution, they might have walked carelessly into the jaws of predators. Without imagination, they might never have prepared for unseen threats. The emotion that once kept them alive still whispers inside us whenever the lights go out. Yet humanity refused to remain trapped by that fear. Instead of accepting the darkness, humans studied it. We learned to make better fire. We built safer homes. We mapped the stars. We invented lamps, electricity, telescopes, satellites, and space observatories. The very darkness that once terrified our ancestors eventually inspired us to explore the universe beyond our own world. Every astronaut looking into the blackness of space is, in a way, continuing the same journey that began around an ancient campfire. The darkness never truly changed. We did. And perhaps that's the greatest lesson hidden within our oldest fear. Darkness was never only the absence of light. It was the place where human imagination, courage, cooperation, and curiosity were tested. And where, night after night, our species slowly learned not just to survive the unknown, but to understand it.